Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Rishabh Jain Pharma. For today's video, the topic is stability study. In this video, I will explain general overview for the stability study and the important thing which I am going to be explaining here, data evolution. When you have completed your stability study and after the stability study you have to be identify what is the expiry date has to be given to this product, how to evaluate the data. So this video is very important. In this video you will learn how to evaluate the stability data. To understand the data evolution general overview, please watch this video till end. So what is the requirement of stability study? Why stability study is required? To identify the quality of pharmaceutical product till its expiry. What is the quality of the pharmaceutical product when the product is going to expire? Because after the expire it is not useful for the consumption for the human health. The pharmaceutical product should be complying to predefined acceptance criteria till its expiry. So the product should be comply. What is the specification? And when you are doing so much of analysis during the expiry period, also you are doing the analysis, it should comply. Identify the expiry period of product. So this is the main reason we have to do the stability study and identify the expiry period, a retest period of product. So let's understand ICH guideline for stability studies. Q1 is the ICH guideline where the guideline has specified the stability studies. In this Q1A-R2 मतलब revision number 2, stability testing of new drug substance and product. Q1B, stability testing, that is photo stability testing of new drug substance and product. Q1C, stability testing of new dosage form. Q1D, bracketing and matricing design for stability testing of new drug substance and products. Q1E, evaluation of stability data, and last is Q1F, stability data package for registration, application in climate zone, third and fourth. So for the ICH guideline, Q1 for the stability study, in this Q1, Q1A to Q1F guideline is mentioned, so that I have already given the detail here. So Q1A-R2, stability testing of new drug substance and products. So we'll discuss here for the Q1A revision 2. First is selection of batches. This complete paragraph I have taken from the guideline itself. So that I will explain with respect to guideline. Data from formal stability studies should be provided on at least 3 primary batches of the drug substance. Because here I am discussing for the API drug substance. The batches should be manufactured to a minimum of pilot scale by the same synthetic route as and using a method of manufacture and procedure that simulate the final process to be used for production batches. So when you are doing stability study, the pilot scale batch, when you manufacture the pilot scale batch, now you are going to be manufacture batch for the market. So all the synthetic process should be same, all the manufacturing process should be same, this should be not changed. And the production batches, which container closure system you are using, that same container closure system also be used for the stability study. The overall quality of the batches of drug substance placed on formal stability studies should be representative of the quality of the material to be made on a production scale. So any stability study which you are doing for the initial batches, same manufacturing process, same container closure system has to be used when you are marketing this product. Now selection of batches for the product. Now I discussed with for the drug substance, now it is for product. Data from stability studies should be provided on at least 3 primary batches of the drug product. Again, you require to be a 3 batches stability data. The primary batches should be of the same formulation and package in the same container closure system as proposed for marketing. So manufacturing process, even packing components should be same which you did the stability study. The manufacturing process used for the primary batches should simulate that to be applied to production batches and should provide product of the same quality and meeting the same specification as that intended for marketing. 2 of the 3 batches should be as at least pilot scale batches and third one can be smaller. If justified, where possible, batches of the drug product shall be manufactured by using different batches of the drug substance. So these 3 batches where you are doing the stability study, in these 3 batches at least if required you can use 2 different batches of the drug substance. Before we discuss number of batches, that is I explained 3 batches is required. Now container closure system, so that is divided from API and product. Container closure system for API, the stability studies should be conducted on the drug substance packaged in a container closure system that is the same as simulate the packaging proposed for storage and distribution. So the stability study has to be conducted in the same container closure system. It should be simulate. For that you are containing, you are storing, you are distributing the API till shelf life. Second, container closure system for product. Stability testing should be conducted on the dosage form packaged in the container closure system proposed for marketing. Any available studies carried out on the drug product outside its immediate container in the other packaging material can form a useful part of the stress testing of the dosage form can be considered as supporting information respectively. So for the product also, what is your primary packing material? Like if you are in foil in the bottle, the secondary packing material is the carton. So when you are doing the stability study, same primary packing material, same secondary packing material has to be used for the stability study which you are going for the product when you are distributing to the market. If you see here method stress studies matlab accelerated studies that we are discussing. So what specification has to be used during the conducting the stability studies? So the stability studies should include testing of those attributes of the drug substance that susceptible to change during storage and are likely to influence quality, safety and efficacy. The testing should cover as appropriate the physical, chemical, biological and microbiological attribute. Validate stability indicating analytical procedure should be applied. Whether and to what extent replication should be performed will depend on the result from validation studies. So here first they have mentioned for the specification. The specification has to be designed in such a way that can include all the physical parameter, all the chemical parameter, all the biological and microbiological parameter. And the method has to be validated. The analytical method has to be validated. And this analytical method has to be having all the degradation product, because during the complete stability studies, if any impurity is generated, that can be identified during the validation of the method with degradation studies. Here I also mention if any replication analysis is required. So during the validation studies, if the result is coming, you to be do the replicate result and you to be report average of the result, that also be specified in the testing procedure. So the specification should be approved, the testing procedure should be approved when you are going to start the analytical method validation, and when the validation is completed, the spec and STP has to be effective and the same has to be used for the stability studies. The protocol for the stability study has to be defined and has to be approved before starting of the stability studies. Testing frequency and storage condition. So what will be the testing frequency and what should be the storage condition? Here what I have mentioned, it is not storage condition for all the dosage form. Here I have mentioned for oral solid dosage form only. For different dosage form, storage condition will be different. So this is only for general overview and understanding what should be a testing frequency I have mentioned here. So if you see long term, intermediate and accelerated, there is 3 studies has to be done. What is the storage condition? Long term is 25-60, 25 degrees centigrade and 60% RH. And it has to be done, minimum is mentioned as 12 months. So first year 3, 6, 9 and 12. Second year after 6 months like 12, then 18, 24, and after 2 years it will be yearly basis like 24, 36, 48. Now intermediate. If you see the long term, they have mentioned 30-65, intermediate also they have mentioned 30-65. So what will be difference? If the long term condition you are doing with the 30-65, then intermediate is not required. Intermediate has to be done for the 6 months, and accelerated condition 40-75, that is called stress study, that is for 6 months. So intermediate is not required if you are doing long term is a 30-65 degrees centigrade. 30 degrees centigrade and 65% RH. So 30-65 if the long term condition, then intermediate is not required. If long term studies are conducted at 25-60 and significant change occur at any time during 6 month testing at the accelerated storage condition, additional testing at the intermediate storage condition should be conducted and evaluated against significant change criteria. The initial application should include a minimum of 6 month data from a 12-month study at the intermediate storage condition. So I already explained, if any in the accelerated condition significant change is observed, then you have to go with the intermediate condition. When you start the intermediate condition, then it is required 12-month data, because the 6 month already you have done for accelerated and there is a significant change, then you have to start the intermediate. So there are two things. If the long term storage condition with the 30-65, no intermediate is required. Second, during the accelerated condition, if any significant change is happen, then you have to start intermediate storage condition. Significant change for a drug substance is defined a failure to meet the specification, any API. Significant change means out of specification result. If there are any valid OS, it means there is a significant change. But for the formulation product, a 5% change in assay from its initial value, a failure to meet the acceptance criteria for potency when using biological or immunological procedures. So for the finished product, where the limit normally 90-110, normally 90-105%, here 5% change means if you have 100% initially and you're getting 94%, so that is degradation of the 5%, then we can say significant change. Any degradation product exceeding its acceptance criteria for the RS, for the degradation product, it should be complied to the specification. If it is out of specification, it will cause significant change. Failure to meet the acceptance criteria for appearance, physical attribute and functionality test. So any appearance, physical attribute and functionality test is out of specification, then call the significant change. And as appropriate for the dosage form, if failure to meet the acceptance criteria for a pH, again significant change because already out of specification. Failure to meet the acceptance criteria for dissolution for 12 doses unit, again out of specification of dissolution, the significant change. If you see the complete significant change data only for the formulation product assay, from the initial value it is less than 5%, then significant change. Other all the tests out of specification result considered as a significant change. This is important for part of this video, how to do evaluation for stability data, how to define the shelf life, how to define the expiry, how to define the retest period based on the available stability data, based on the evolution of stability data. So I have mentioned here one, little or no change over time means there will be no change of the stability data during the stability studies If the change is there, it should be very little. There is no variability of the data, and if it is there, it's very little. So long term, 1 year 2 okay means there is no change. There is no variability in the data. ACC also 1 and 2 okay. So long-term stability study data is okay, ACC is okay. Intermediate is not applicable because there is no significant change. Statistical analysis supporting data here not required. Now how to calculate the shelf life? So where the long term is okay, ACC is okay. Then how to calculate the shelf life? Y is equal to 2x. Y, the month of shelf life you to define, month of expiry you to be defined, month of retest you to define. X, how many months of long-term stability study is completed successfully, where your ACC also okay. So Y is equal to, if you completed 12 months, 12 into 2, 24 months. Your shelf life will be 24 months when you completed 12 months. Long-term stability study is successful, ACC also successful. Now, if you complete 24 months, 24 into X, 48 months, no. If you completed 24 month long-term stability study, this formula 24 into 2 is 48, but 48 you cannot give because second clause will come, should be not exceeding X plus 12. So 24 month long-term stability data is okay, then you have to be considered 36 month as a expiry. 48 month long-term stability is okay, you can consider 48 plus 12, 60. So this is the formula where you have to be calculate shelf life when your long-term and ACC condition are okay. Y is equal to 2x, 2 means X means your long-term month which is completely successful, 2 into 12, if so 24 you can put. Long-term completed 24, 24 into 2, not 48, 24 plus 12, 36. Now I will go in the second line. Variation is there, little variation is there, little variability is there. So not okay, but there is no significant change. That's why intermediate is not required. If you did the statistical analysis and you have supporting data that can support your shelf life and expiry of the product, the same formula can be considered. I will go in the line item number 3. This is a small variation is there, small variation also here. There is no significant change, intermediate is not required, but you don't have supporting data to support your stability studies, your expiry period, your shelf life period. You don't have statistical evolution also, then the formula will change. Here the formula is same, now the formula is changed. Y is equal to 1.5x. It means 12 month long-term stability data is available, so you can give 12 plus 6, 13. 12 plus 6, 18. 12 month long-term data is there, you can consider 18 months as expiry period. If the 24 month long-term data is available, so you cannot consider 24 into 1.5 as a 36 month because second clause is plus 6, so 24 plus 6, 30 month. Then you can consider 30 month your shelf life and expiry. Here the significant change in the picture. When the significant change is done in the isolated condition, intermediate has to be initiated. In the intermediate data is okay. You did the statistical analysis, you are supporting data. The same formula you can use here to define the shelf life, to define the expiry, to define the retest. Significant changes in ACC, intermediate data is okay, but you don't have supporting data to support expiry period, to support shelf life. You don't have statistical analysis data also. Then Y is equal to X plus 3 means 12 month long term completed, so 15 month you can give the expiry date. 24 month completed, 27 month you can give the expiry date. 1 year 2 okay, significant change, here also significant change, but here long term is okay. Then you did the supporting data, you did the statistical analysis, Y is equal to X. How many months you can complete the long term data? The same you can put as a expiry date and shelf life. You cannot exceed 1 month also in this case. Now, long term not okay, ACC not okay, intermediate not okay. This product is not sustainable to the market. Do not dispatch to the market, do not supply to the market. So this is how to evaluate the stability study data, how to define the shelf life, how to define the expiry period, how to define the retest. This complete I have explained here. So friends, I believe you enjoyed this video, you have learned with this video. If you found this video is really helpful, this video is really increasing the knowledge, please share this video to your friends. Please like this video and put your comments if you want any new video to publish. If you not subscribe my channel, please subscribe the channel. If you subscribe the channel, you will get continue my new videos and you can increase your knowledge. Thanks for watching this video.